Dilfer.
Ooh, that's what I like to hear. All right, my man's. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Okay, so you check the timestamp. You know this is a large analysis of Elite 11 with a talk with the wide receiver who's catching passes at Elite 11. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kin folks? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Elite 11 and Caleb Williams winning the MVP evaluations and get into what this actually means, right? So I want to start with talking about Elite 11, right? Which is one, I have Oregon fans in the comments who rightfully are like, yo, Ty Thompson, alpha. That was the dude who won it. He also probably had the biggest rise of any of the quarterbacks, right? While Caleb Williams keeps the number one spot and is Elite 11 MVP, Trent Dilfer said it was largely because of tape, right? 75% of their junior tape goes into the evaluation, or I should say their junior tape is 75% of the evaluation. 25% goes on those 3 days at that camp, which also begs the question of, are we actually holding a competition here, or are we holding a coronation? In which case, you can understand why if your quarterback, say a commit like Caden Salter to Tennessee, or perhaps Kyron Jones at Baylor, or Demetrius Davis at Auburn, does not get a lot of attention. Same thing with like a Garrett Nussmeier or even a Tyler Buchner. But in looking at the evaluations from the folks that were on the ground there, and also talking with at least one wide receiver who you're going to hear from in a little bit about what they saw, there were good points for all of these dudes, right? But a couple of them stood apart. Ty Thompson apparently looks the part and plays the part, has a huge arm. Oregon is getting a top prospect there. Tyler Buchner, according to Barton Simmons, still don't know what to do with. That's Notre Dame's commit, and I can understand that. He's still developing. A guy that I was shocked to hear great things about, like legitimately great things, was Tyler Macon, commit to Missouri, who does not look like a prototypical quarterback, and then you see him drop back and throw the ball, and apparently everything makes sense, right? I get that. But one of the guys that I thought we needed to be talking about just a little bit more that we weren't before is Drake May, because all I've heard about Drake May is good to great things. Throws an outstanding ball. Even J.J. McCarthy, awesome. And then Kyle McCord lit up pro day, right? Which is what you want to be able to do in 3 years' time. You want to be able to light up your pro day after putting together an outstanding career at, for him, Ohio State, for J.J. McCarthy at Michigan. But Elite 11 is also so hit or miss, man. So, like, I did some looking around on the Elite 11 website, which is like an annual thing because it's the only time that we care about is in late June. First, we got to get that webmaster to get Elite 11 under control because they got C.J. Stroud as Spencer Rattler in the 2018 Elite 11 MVP. He won it. It should be his name. But if you're looking at Elite 11, which has been going on since 1999, so we got about 20 years of data here, you can see that it's a wild smattering of highly regarded quarterbacks. So, like, I just started picking on some numbers and picking some years to figure out who did what, right? So let's start with this. In 2012, these were the guys that went to Elite 11. Malik Zaire, Christian Hackenberg, Max Brown, Josh Dobbs, Luke Del Rio, and Jared Goff. But do you know who Elite 11 MVP was? Asante Woolard, who was committed to UCLA and then ends up at Clarion. All right? That's 2012. 2015, these are the guys that were invited to Elite 11, like top 11 quarterbacks. Malik Henry, Brandon McElwain, KJ Costello, Jake Eason, Felipe Franks, Anthony Russo, Jarrett Guarantano, and Elite 11 MVP, Shea Patterson, goes undrafted. You know who else was there? Dwayne friggin' Haskins, who, say whatever you want, is still a first-round draft pick to the Washington Redskins and is going to be their quarterback to start the season, all right? 2010, these are the guys that got invited, or some of them. J.W. Walsh, Kendall Thompson, Archie Bradler, and Evan Crowder, but they both went on to play baseball. Both are pretty good. Everett Golson, Cody Kessler, Kyle Frazier at Auburn. I forgot Kyle Frazier existed. And then, Teddy Bridgewater was there. But do you know who was the Elite 11 MVP? Jeff friggin' Driscoll. Okay? We can make a great argument that Teddy Bridgewater is the greatest quarterback out of that 2010 class. All right. And then you keep going. Like the 2007 group is wild because everything in 2007 was wild. But then you look at the group that Mark Sanchez led, and it's the weirdest smattering of quarterbacks that are highly regarded that I've ever seen. I mean, the names you know are Mark Sanchez and Ryan Perrilloux. That's about it. Everybody else, you're like, wait, that dude? Harrison Beck? And yet, that's who got invites. That's who was coming through the camps. That's who was actually setting the world on fire. Also, is not necessarily indicative of who's going to be the best quarterback, although it can be, right? So Elite 11 MVP is real hit or miss, right? So Oklahoma's going to have 2 if Caleb Williams chooses OU. If not, still Spencer Rattler, who was Elite 11 MVP during the 2018 year. So it's all over the place, right? And now that you know that, and you also know that like Carson Beck and Brock Vandagriff going to Georgia, and that Kyle McCord and CJ Stroud going to Ohio State, you understand the usual suspects kind of show up here, and every once in a while you get a kid from like North Texas or Western Kentucky who just outperforms everybody. But now that guy is getting an offer from Ohio State, and he's ending up at Ohio State, CJ Stroud, who goes from like 838th in the country to like number 41, in the country in 2020 because of how he was able to perform and how Ryan Day really loved watching him play and ended up getting him in the boat, right? So I wanted to point that out. But I also wanted to point out that your quarterback being invited, if you had a quarterback that was invited and wasn't snubbed, is a great thing. It's still a good indicator of future success. And if any indication from what Jaden Satterfield told me, who you're going to hear from here in a little bit, it's that all of these things not just matter, but all of these guys have things that they're really good at. Like Brock Vandagriff apparently speaks without speaking. Caleb Williams just looks so super fluid and moves so very well. Ty Thompson apparently can throw the football over them mountains. Like, they're all good things to say about these kids. I want to get that across. But I also want to get Elite 11 is what we talk about because there's nothing else to talk about. I wish that they were a little bit more open about their evaluation, but I do know that getting Trent Dilfer, Quincy Avery, Brian Stump, Gerard Johnson, all to counsel these quarterbacks and to give them pointers is not a small thing. Same thing with the guys that get invited to be wide receivers there and to participate in the drills. So, as much as we think this is an open competition, by their own accounting, whether or not you want to take the Elite 11 Twitter account that says 50% of it is evaluation, 50% of it is the 3-day event, or Trent Dilfer saying 75 and 25, we know that at least half of it is already taken care of before they set foot at camp. And then it's about, can you make your way through camps? Can you get to Elite 11, the final? This year it was in Nashville, and then we'll see what the counselors have to say. A lot of this is also hedging about what you're going to be in 3 years. It's about what you're going to be at the NFL level. So you want the Elite 11 MVP to be the can't-miss prospect who's going to be a first-round draft pick. Blaine Gabbert was an Elite 11 MVP. Asante Woodard was an Elite 11 MVP. Shea Patterson was an Elite 11 MVP. So if you have any problems with that, you can understand why. All right, let's talk to Jaden. So I am joined by 2023 wide receiver Jaden Satterfield. The reason that I wanted to talk with Jaden is he got to participate in Elite 11 as a wide receiver, and he's kind enough to join the show to talk about some of his experiences. Jaden, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, sir.
Nah, I appreciate you, Jaden. You announce yourself to me, and I always tell everybody, hey, look, I like that. If you're showing some initiative, that means you're showing some initiative in your recruiting, especially at this time when we're asking the 2021 kids to start, initiating contact because of the recruiting situation that we're in right now. But you kind of got a leg up in that you got to catch footballs from many of the top quarterbacks in the 2021 class. How did you get the invite?
So I have a 7-on-7 coach, Coach Raleigh Howard. He's for Elite 3, and he's really good friends with Dilfer. And he was looking for some of the best receivers in the state, and he just called me and asked me if I wanted to be able to join, and I said, of course. Can't pass up a deal like that.
Right on, man. So where you at in high school right now? Like, are you still playing wide out primarily? You playing both sides?
I'm playing wide receiver and safety, and okay. I'm going to dabble a little bit at corner this year just to kind of help out the team, get some extras. Right on. Where can folks see y'all play high school football? I play at Nashville Christian.
Okay. Ooh, so y'all
around like the Bellevue area.
Yeah, you go up against Lipscomb all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, Lipscomb, for those of you that don't know, is where Trent Dilfer's head coach, and they had a remarkable turnaround almost as soon as he got there. Like, they went from no wins to all the wins.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right, so let's get into what portions of Elite 11 were you there for?
I was there for day 1 and then the first half of day 2 because I had a trip to North Carolina. I had to leave early.
Nah, that's cool. So which drills were you participating in day 1?
Day 1 was kind of like everything. It was the first drill I think we did was like just kind of running the top of routes, and they were trying to get their timing right. Then the second one was they had like the cameras out, really working on mechanics and stuff. We were catching it from the track, and then after that I had like a lot of over routes and some other things, just a little bit of everything that we ran, rail shots.
Ooh, hey, look, I like them. What was your favorite drill to run through with these quarterbacks?
Rail shot. I'm a big deep ball guy personally. I like getting off the ball.
He said, "Oh, give me flat pattern. Give me the go route."
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Nah, that's what's up.
I also like this like really deep corner they ran.
Oh yeah, explain it to me.
It was like 12, and then we couldn't really get across the field. We kind of had to run it like it was another deep route or anything like that. So I really enjoyed that one because it was like back. It was like not really back shoulder, but over the top. If you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So, who threw the best footballs to you?
For me,
yes,
J.J. McCarthy threw really well.
Mm-hmm.
So did Drake May, and probably one of my favorites was Kyron Drones from Texas.
Yeah, committed to Baylor. What'd you like about him?
He has a big arm, and I like that he's really quiet and he's all about business.
Is that is there somebody that was talking a lot, or a little lighter, little more?
The one was talking probably the most, but when I say this, it wasn't a bad thing.
Right.
It was actually really good. It was Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay.
He was really like smart and asked a lot of questions.
No, hey, look, I got to talk with Garrett on the show, and I mean he's very bright, and he's got a quiet confidence about him, and we like quarterbacks that are verbal, right? I kind of don't like it when the quarterback is not verbal. I need him to be talking. I need him to be leading. So, like, one of the questions that I got asked, and you may have caught passes from him, you might have seen him play, is what to make of Ty Thompson? Because, like, he won the Alpha Dog, and I did a commit video on him when he committed to Oregon. He seems to have all the tools, but what do you think about him?
He really stands out.
Okay.
Like, I don't think there's anybody like Ty Thompson. Like, he's big. You really know who he is as soon as you get out there. Yeah. And he can throw on all 3 levels, whether it's a short ball, medium ball, deep ball. Like, he's got, like you said, all the tools, and he's really accurate.
So, of the guys that showed up that you had just a little bit of knowledge of, who impressed you the most?
Probably J.J. McCarthy and Drake May,
okay,
to be real. So did Kyle McCord from Ohio State.
Okay. So, like, he showed out Pro Day, right? The Pro Day event?
Yes, sir.
Okay, walk me through that.
Excuse me, sir, what'd you say?
I said walk me through that.
So the first thing we had was like a slant.
Okay.
And then after that, we went into a couple other routes. And there was about 20 to 25 different routes just back and forth. And they went like full-fledged down the field, no stopping. It was quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah, man. Who do you think has the biggest arm? Is it still Kyron or Ty?
The biggest is I really liked Caleb Williams' arm. He had a really nice arm.
Okay.
It was live. It was really good.
Oh man, I see it on the
tape. one guy they didn't talk about a ton was I like the arm of Tyler Macon. He's got a big arm.
Ooh, committed to Missouri.
Yes, sir.
Okay, like he's interesting to me. If for no other reason than, Eli Drinkwitz seems to be building something pretty good at Missouri after what he did at App State, and he's got a Gus Malzahn background, also from the Oklahoma area. I think he went to Norman High School. But, like, Macon, he doesn't necessarily look like a prototypical quarterback, and it's interesting, right? Because until you see him throw the football, you almost ask this question of, like, quarterback? And then and then the ball goes, and you're like, oh, yeah, quarterback.
He really shocked me because when I first got out there, I was like, he's a smaller guy.
Yeah. I
was like, he's more built like a running back or like a slot guy.
Yeah.
And then he threw, and everything was really smooth. It got out there fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's good.
So, of the guys that everybody knows about, right? Caleb Williams, Brock Vandegrift, I mean, I could say Kyle McCord because most people know about him, but part of that class. But like, which one of these guys did you first see and you're like, oh, okay, cool. I see why that guy is rated where he's rated.
Probably Brock Vandergriff.
Okay.
He spoke without saying anything. It was like, yes.
Okay.
Big time.
Okay. Like, what's that energy like?
What'd you say?
So what's that energy like?
Oh, it was crazy. Like, it was kind of like he commanded everybody, and we kind of like knew everything we were doing. He was very interactive. Vandergriff.
Okay.
He's big.
Okay. All right. Committed to Georgia. Coming out of Prince Avenue Christian. He set the world on fire as a junior. Well, I was thinking about his tape and Caleb Williams' tape and, going back through the Elite 11 MVPs and whatnot. So that's good to hear, especially for what the offense that Georgia is trying to go to now, which is much more something that a quarterback with his ability might be able to take advantage of, which means he could run and throw as opposed to just, hand the ball off to one of these tailbacks. What is your feeling about the event in particular? I mean, I know it's about quarterbacks, and you're a wide receiver, defensive back. How do you feel about the event?
I thought the event was amazing.
Okay.
I learned a whole lot from even the quarterback coaches. Okay. Like Coach Johnson, Coach Gerard Johnson, he taught me a ton.
Who were the other coaches along with Dilfer and Gerard?
It was Coach Quincy Avery was there. Right. Coach Yogi Ross, I only saw him like once maybe. I didn't see him a ton. Coach Brian Stumpf, of course, he was more of a coordinator though.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Yeah.
No, it's a good group. I mean, you can start with just Quincy, Trent, and Gerard, and you know what you got there. Did you get any coaching tips that you would take with you?
Yes, sir, for sure, from Gerard. I mean, I've always been a guy who's like really focused on routes, but kind of sometimes struggles on getting that head around, and he really helped me with that, like figuring that out, how to get around faster, for sure.
That's what's up. Jaden Satterfield is 2023 wide receiver defensive back out of Bellevue. Jaden, thanks so much for taking the time, man. I know that a lot of people are going to appreciate this.
Thank you, sir.